name is Vinod Kumar. I'm from Jami Hydraulic, Vishakhapatnam. Basically, we supply to actual hand docket in Vishakhapatnam or hydraulic. He's my colleague actually.
Good evening, everyone. This is Suresh. I'm a startup mentor. I work in multiple sectors, from semiconductors. Right now, I'm doing my own.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Charita. I'm an intern at AHA.
And Pranav?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pranav. So I'm technical support here, and I get designer.
A very warm welcome to all the speakers, guests, and attendees. Thank you all for joining us today. This forum's purpose is to establish and build an integrated ecosystem with a variety of supports for entrepreneurs. It is open to everyone, and we hope you all will take full advantage of it by participating and contributing. If you're wondering what can and does happen in these sessions, here's a brief outline. We have multiple segments of these sessions. Show Me the Money is the first one. This is a segment where Charita, our grants management volunteer, we're all volunteers running the show. So she presents details about a funding source and gives some deadlines and upcoming events about grant sources for startups or funding sources for startups, not necessarily just grants. Technical talk. Each session has a different topic. That's the main segment of the show, bringing in experts, sharing their expertise and experience. Pitching your startup. We have a slot for you to pitch your company. If you have a registered startup, you're welcome to present your company. Pitch your company. That is about 10 minutes. Regardless of the stage you're at, it is always good to be practicing a pitch. So if you're ready with a pitch, please send me or Pranav your slide deck. Idea pitches, we have slots for idea pitches, and that is usually 3-minute slots. If you don't have a startup registered yet, or if you're just tinkering with an idea, that will be a great slot to use to refine your idea. Open mic is where anybody can present any ideas if they are inspired. So we put in the effort to organize these, and we are having fun doing so. The more you engage, the more you derive. That's been the mantra at AHA. There are lots of resources in the ecosystem, and you have to really dig in and find them and engage them, and you will get a lot more out of it. Here are a few basic rules before we commence the meeting. Kindly put your mobile phones on silent mode. Please refrain from entering or exiting the session while the speaker is delivering their presentation. Please wait until the speaker concludes their session. Please refrain from crosstalk or side conversations. It is distracting. If you're pitching today and have a presentation, please send it to me or Pranav now. It will keep the program on track and avoid any unnecessary technical delays. I heard from 3 people saying they wanted to pitch today, but I only have 1 pitch. So if there's anybody else, please send it to me now. We run a tight program, so please stick to your timelines. We request the audience to reserve your questions to the designated Q&A period, but if the speaker is engaging you in question and answers, please follow the lead. Now, Charita is here with a short presentation. Today, I think she's covering venture capitalism. In the announcement, I made a typo there, so venture capitalist is what she's covering. She has been doing this systematically, covering various sources of funding for startups since this is the second round you're running, right? So she's been writing about them in blog posts, so those will be posted if they're not yet posted on the website of AHA. So, right, Charita, show us some money.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Charita. I'm an intern at AHA. And for the past few weeks, we've been covering different sources of funding available for startups in India. So we have, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we have restarted the round. So we're talking about venture capitals and angel investors and how and which stage of funding are they suitable for. So a little recap. So venture capitals are a form of private equity financing for startups. So they invest money for a return of in excess of equity, and they are with the startups until IPO or like a return stage. So and then coming to angel investors are high net worth individuals who invest in startups at a very early stage. And apart from investment, angel investors and venture capitals provide mentorship, networking opportunities, and exposure to new partners, clients, or even other investors. So, coming to suitability of different at different stages, angel investors are usually suitable in the very beginning stage. So these investors provide you with investments at the pre-seed or seed stage funding. So in the pre-seed stage, you usually have an idea and you do not have a proper uh, MVP or a product or a prototype. So in the idea stage, so if you might often angel investors approach or like if you approach them, they invest in this stage, or they invest in early ideas, MVPs, or with passionate funding teams. And in the seed stage, this is the most ideal stage for angel investors because you already have some kind of traction in the market, and you also have a prototype to show for them. So they might have an idea or experience about, okay, if this is going to be viable in the market, or like is it a long term thing. So it is highly suitable in both pre-seed and seed stages, and it is occasionally suitable, or like very sometimes suitable for in the Series A, because in Series A you have entered the market and already have some amount of a market, or less amount of customers. So they might not be very useful, because at this is the stage where you're getting ready for proper venture capitals, and you're getting investors from external investors. And in Series B and beyond, you already have an expansion, an organization. You have set it. You have a market. You're expanding. So this is not Series B and beyond. You will not have a lot of angel investors interested in investing in your company. So if you're a company in pre-seed or seed stage, it is most suitable for you to go approach an angel investor. And for venture capitalists, if you're it is not suitable in the VC stage, because no venture capitalist is interested in investing in an idea. So if you have a prototype which is in the seed stage, or if you all have already entered a market, so that is when you're more suitable for approaching a VC. So there, don't only give you investment; they also provide you with mentorship or networking opportunities, and it's also suitable if you're in a Series B or beyond, when you're in the form of expanding, or like in the process of expanding or scaling your operations into a larger organization. So coming to today's grant, we're talking about Agni Mission. So this is more of a scheme than a grant. Uh, it's like a matchmaking page for investors and your technology startups. So Agni Mission uh, is started by Principle of Scientific Advisor by Government of India. So it's executed via Invest India, and its core mission is to identify and support market-ready Indian innovations and facilitating technology commercialization. So if you're a technologist, you're a startup, or a potential or a public R&D lab, and you have an innovation which is about to enter a market for commercialization across and including sectors like health, agriculture, energy, education, mobility, AI, defense, or aerospace. So you can apply to this grant, to this scheme. So it helps you connect with innovators and with government buyers or industry buyers, founders or corporate partners. And one thing to note is Agni does not by itself disperse grants. It'll help you directly connect with schemes or other grants, or other investors who have grants with them. So if you are interested in this particular grant, you can apply to this via their website. The website is given on the screen so you can take a picture if you want to. So you have to submit your proposal or your details and they're going to go through your details and match you with one of the investor or like a scheme, and that's where you network. And so it's not specific to one sector itself. It can be across any sector, but which is mainly related to technology. So it's not a conventional grant scheme. It's more like a matchmaking website, as I said before. So yeah, thank you. If you have any other queries or suggestions, you can mail us or contact the team at our house. Thank you.
Thank you, Charita. Now let's move on to the main part of the session today. If you're wondering how we pick our speakers for these technical sessions, here is a brief explanation. We focus on 4 levels to explore entrepreneurship and bring you the best of ideas and depth of understanding. We look at the individual, the company, the sector, and the ecosystem. Each level has a distinct set of challenges and opportunities, suitable set of skills and resources, and provides a level of understanding of entrepreneurship. If you're already an entrepreneur, these talks will help you understand the journey. If you're considering it or just exploring, these talks will give you a great intro into the journey. Today we'll focus on a sector. Rear Admiral K. Ravikiran, who's retired as was a marine engineer by profession, had served on board steam, diesel, and gas turbine propelled ships of German and ex-USSR origin. He was actively associated with product development and indigenization during his duties with Material Organization, Naval Dockyards, Defense Indigenization Unit, Defense Machinery Development Establishment, Navy Ship Design Center, and Submarine Building Program. He was also the head of faculty, marine engineering, and officer in charge of cadets training for BE Mechanical and EEE. Post-retirement, he took up the assignment of Director, Indian Maritime University, Visakhapatnam campus, and was the EC member of Indian Maritime University, Chennai. He is also a qualified psychologist and a clinical hypnotherapist and helps out people in need. He will give us an overview of defense procurement and opportunities in the indigenization era. Let's welcome Ravikiran.
Good evening. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Divakar and Dr. Srinivas who gave me this opportunity. I'll briefly explain to you what the setup that is existing in the Department of Defense Production and the DRDO of Ministry of Defense. I focus only on the startups, looking at the name of the event, Startup Saturdays. I thought I should briefly tell you how to go about becoming a startup and contribute for the defense production. Department of Defense Production was set up with the twin objectives of creating the production infrastructure and achieving a substantial self-reliance in design, development, and the production of defense equipment, the weapons, systems, and platforms. DDP recognizes that true self-reliance is only possible when the technology is also totally indigenous and is within the country. With that in view, since 1962, DDP has been encouraging promotion of innovation and intellectual property in the defense industry ecosystem of the country. Actually, if you go to DDP website, this is what it says, but this, I myself was surprised to read it because I never, in my service, that is in the area, I never felt that there is somebody who's trying to encourage this and helping the user Because what it mattered to me as a user in the Navy was that how I get my spare or how I get my replacement. There were many hurdles because of the bureaucratic hurdles or the procedural hurdles which were there in requiring that. But the aim was that from 1962, and it continues to be this aim. Out of its 10 functions, innovation and indigenization are two relevant things for today's interaction. While indigenization division provides development support to MSMEs and startups, as well as the industry for import substitution. Defense Innovation Organization, DIO, which was formed as a Section 8 company. If you see, indigenization division was mainly focusing on import substitution. They are looking at producing the items within the country somehow using the indigenous technology. Whereas since that has not delivered the desired results, they have gone in for DIO. DIO aims to create an ecosystem to foster innovation and technology development in defense and aerospace by engaging industries, including MSMEs, startups, individual innovators, R&D institutes, and academia. Its objective is to provide support with grants and funding to carry out R&D, which has the potential for future absorption and adoption of the technology in Indian defense sector. All these, including the defense establishments, incubators, think tanks, and the industry, have been integrated through what is called IDEX, that is Innovations for Defense Excellence. It's an acronym, IDEX. It's a platform on which people can access and get into this register as a startup and help contribute. Now, IDEX has a budget of about approximately 500 crores. They had started for 5 years. They had given that budget starting in 2021. It funds about 1.5 crores for about 300 startups. It gives funding and about 20 partner incubators. That's the budget is meant for that. They conduct something called Defense India Startup Challenges to pick these MSMEs and startups. And they also conduct open challenges under something called SPARK. That's support for prototype and research kickstart, the acronym SPARK. They provide funding through SPARK. That can go up to 10 crores depending on the project. Partner incubators play a pivotal role, an important function. They provide mentorship to startups and MSMEs selected by this IDEX DIO through these competitions, challenges. Partner incubators will run programs like accelerators and incubation, etc., to strengthen this selected startups and MSMEs. They also undertake initiatives to reach out, spread awareness, and provide innovations for defense amongst the students and academia at all levels, researchers at all levels. IDEX scheme is believed would facilitate rapid development of new indigenized and innovative technologies for Indian defense as well as the aerospace industry. And this hope and that it could deliver these products in a shorter timelines. That's the aim of starting IBEX, DIO and IBEX. What was not achieved through indigenous citizen is and results are to some extent are satisfying. It could create a culture of technology co-creation and co-innovation with the defense and aerospace sectors. Just mark this word, the co-creation and co-innovation. I mean, there's a lot of mentoring which goes on, hand-holding which goes on. For being eligible to get this grants, one has to be a startup defined under different Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. You have to be defined as a startup and recognized as a startup by that. Or you should be an MSME. Incorporated under the MSME Act of 2006. Individual innovators are also encouraged to apply. In fact, the research and academic institutes can use this category to apply. However, they are supposed to form a startup prior to signing up this Spark agreement or receiving the funding. Because there is another one, Aditi, which also provides funding for startups, but selected the advanced technology startups, advanced defense technology innovation, Aditi short. One of the challenges which Indian Navy conducts is defense innovation risk is Samvad.ai. It is basically to encourage and develop applications of generative AI. Some of the successful technologies developed through these startups are drones, very popular. You have seen in the Opsinger, totally successful. There are many in ATVAC. Space technology is another, which has come up very well. It is through these startups, is encouraged by this program. Unmanned vehicles, it is aerial, underwater, or ground vehicles. Robotics for disposal of ordnance and things like that. Robots. Simulators is another area which is being extensively developed and used, whether it is firing simulators or flying simulators, that they are extensively used and successful. Cyber security is another area which is used. Electronic warfare, counter warfare or warfare itself. Developing advanced materials, including composites, is one area which has been successful. They have developed, in fact, for the Navy, they have developed hatches and doors with composites which reduce the weight. Not only that, they have developed the portable submersible pump form in Pune with the composite body material made of composites, which reduced the weight by about 44%. Earlier, when you had to use it, deflood an area which was flooded, you needed more people. Now, just 2 people can easily carry it and put it there. These things, where there is a requirement, that is, it is seen like this: either you have a product and then you go and tell that person that look, it meets this gap, or the defense forces come to you and tell you that the various exhibitions or seminars they conduct, that these are the gaps, and then people can come forward and take up that. There are 2 ways. But what is important is the value addition. It's not, they are not looking at somebody picking up products from somewhere and supplying to them. It's not exactly that kind of procurement which these organizations are. Once these are successful, then they are quickly incorporated into the procurement processes, weapons or this. Earlier on, when mostly when you had to procure, mostly it was by global. I mean, they used to tender, and globally they used to procure the best equipment or best weapon equipment. It was late Manohar Parrikar who was introduced this Buy Indian. Buy Indian means Indian design, develop, and manufacture. Even if it is not the L1, otherwise the normal procurement process is whoever is the lowest bidder, he gets the order. Here, in the defense procurement procedure manual, this has been added specifically at that time. Defense manufacturing per se actually has come into opened up for the private industry only in 2004, 2005. After the Kargil review committee has identified the problems in supply of equipment to the services, they have realized that that they needed to bring in the private industry also to bring in latest technology as well as to accelerate the process of procurement. Like I have said that the Department of Defense Production from 1962 has been aiming towards the procurement, developing innovation and things like that. But they were doing it with their defense PSUs and the ordnance factories which they had. There was no private industry which came in at that time. This came in after the Kargil committee reports. And it came in with an act of parliament. Otherwise, it was private was not industry was not permitted to get into it. The other funding comes through Technology Development Fund, TDF. It's a scheme executed by DRDO and aimed at promoting self-reliance in defense technology under Make in India initiative. It provides funding, mentoring, and support to Indian industries, particularly MSMEs and startups, to develop cutting-edge defense and dual-use technologies. Again, mark this word dual use. The emphasis on dual use. This also encourages collaboration between industry, academia, and research institutions, and ensures that developed technologies are prioritized for procurement. I've mentioned that by Indian. If you have developed in a state, even though you are not the L1, you get the priority of procurement. DRDO also provides up to 10 crores as grant in aid to support futuristic technologies, which have had a proof of concept. That means you should have that MV, minimum viable product, MVP. Only then, they won't guess your idea. You have to produce something and show it to them. Not exactly the scale, the size. And they provide money to convert that proof of concept into the prototype. The scheme provides mentoring, and testing, and monitoring support. Testing is a very important aspect to say provide. Otherwise, getting the right lab to get it tested itself becomes a problem, and then the costs involved and the reliability of that lab. The Technology Development Fund absorbs failures, genuine failures during the process of development. They absorb that and then encourage innovation. It's given. It integrates end users designers, developers, mentors, and quality assurance agencies. Again, important is quality assurance agencies. Earlier, if you had the item you had developed, you had to give it to quality assurance establishment, and getting the thing tested or certified there used to take time. That used to take a lot of time, and they were not nobody is accountable to each other. Whereas it is integrated now, so they are accountable and they have to produce timely manner. Now, once the product is developed, the intellectual property rights are held jointly by DRDO. The scheme basically looks at niche technologies, developing niche technologies for the first time in the country. Nobody else has developed, and you have a chance of getting it. Hyderabad-based incubators, T-Works and T-Hub, are helping startups access DRDO's technology development fund. T-Hub is a startup partnered with startup incubator, partnered with HAL, and to basically to support the defense and aerospace sectors. IIT Hyderabad Technology Incubation Center, IT they call it, is a non-for-profit society that focuses on creating a supportive, nourishing environment for budding entrepreneurs in the field of technology, so that entrepreneur ideas can be turned into sustainable, scalable, profit-making business ventures. It functions under with the support of Department of Science and Technology under Ministry of Science and Technology. This ITech runs a program, ABCD, that's acclimatization boot camp for defense startups in collaboration with IDEX DIA. The objective is to look for startups with technological innovation in civilian applications and realign them for defense users. And also to bridge the gap between them and the defense sector. It is also to help startups explore the potential of their existing technologies in addressing critical defense needs and challenges. One of the reports which I had come across states that Indian defense sector provides opportunity for the industry to the tune of $100 to $120 billion in the next 5 to 6 years. And they anticipate it to grow at the rate of 10 to 13% up to the year 2030. Of course, this includes all the big ticket items like the weapon systems and then public platforms itself. In the next few minutes, I'll briefly touch upon what I had experienced or seen during my service, how it started and where it is progressing actually, from my perspective, based on that. See, as an engineer, when there is a problem, when there is a shortfall, and you don't have a item to operate an equipment, you obviously look for quicker alternatives. You don't say, right. I can recall when I was in a small ship here, going around in 100 feet road with a small oil seal, looking for an oil seal, and I did find it here. I was sure I would find it because it was for a 100 kilowatt generator on a missile boat, and the standardization in the erstwhile USSR was so much that they used the same engine in trucks as well as the ships. The problem was at that time the procurement, all these things, financial authorities, they were highly centralized. As an operator on board a ship, user, I didn't have much money or authority to procure myself. It was very restricted those days. Then I served in the materials organization here, where I was dealing with logistic chains of Russian-based ships, Russian origin ships. We had about 7 projects at that time, about 1 lakh plus inventory. The procurement process was as given by the general financial regulations of that time, and you had to go via the lowest bid process, and what you call a L1. You could only place order on the L1, and sometimes the people used to take the orders and then deliver. There were delays of that nature, or the items delivered did not clear inspection because they thought that they somehow can produce and meet or procure, which they couldn't succeed, and they supply something else, and then these things did happen, and we had to solely rely on the import of spares. Even like I'm saying, this rubber seals, things like consumables, simple consumables like a specific dial, size, quality, O-rings, seals, and things like that. We had to entirely, and that was difficult. Waiting, once you place an order, it takes 3 years for the Russia to, by the time item lands up with you, it used to be so bad. So I know one industry I can not name here, but who used to go around, I've seen go around the ships trying to find out from the engineer officers if they needed something, or engineer officer or approach him and say that, can you get me this, and he would search around and get the spare or get it manufactured. See, in indigenization there are 3 things. You've got to have the form, you've got to have the fit, and the function. It should have the same shape, and it should fit exactly, and then it should function properly. You only restrict it to that. And that, if a user is directly procuring it, he will only take the risk if the item is not critical. Like I said about the oil seal, and if it is not of good quality and fails, what would happen is the contamination of the oil with the water and nothing else. There was no damage to any other equipment, collateral, or the main equipment itself. Otherwise, you need to look at the processes wherein became the quality assurance establishments, who drawn up the specifications and then said, okay, if people have to buy it, they will buy it as per the specification. They would have tested the material, they would have checked the manufacturing processes, how what is used to achieve the same hardness, so same strength. So that used to take a lot of time. Sometimes, and if they had taken up this item for development, the rule was that you can't import it any further. Because they say that, okay, it will take 3 years for the item to come. This can be done in 1 year, but sometimes it never used to be developed within 3 years also. You didn't get the item there, didn't get. So there were times you had to replace the complete equipment which are held in stock as war reserves or otherwise, and waited for this and kept it in materials organization as a repairable inventory, so that whenever the spares come, that could be repaired and reimmersed in the stock. But I had worked in a quality assurance establishment out here in Mumbai, and that was the most satisfying time. And despite this bureaucratic hurdles and where your hands are tied down, you didn't have much financial powers. Within that, you could actually see items being developed, things, projects rectified. One successful thing which Navy took upon and achieved is, there is something called electrical compressor of 150 kg per centimeter square pressure, 150 bar. A compact compressor, Russian origin, USSR origin, because it's extensively used in many missile boards, all the missile boards and the minesweepers and large number of ships. And in space, getting space was becoming a problem. Many are landed up as repairable unit. So the Navy had taken up at that time, it was a bold decision and a good decision to produce the equipment, complete equipment. So LG compressors have produced that exact Chinese copy. That performance, of that quality of the they have been able to achieve that. This. That's one of the, of course, not many, but the attempts were always there to accelerate the process and overcome the hurdles which the regulations were causing. Another thing which I noticed was, I mean, it is not casting aspersions on anyone, but when I had interacted with foreign OEMs while I was in the ship design center in Delhi. I was at the time we were starting designing of Shivalik class. This was in '93. We were trying to till then the platforms were managed by individual control panel. You had the main engine controls, you had the diesel generator separate controls, and compressor had something. You wanted to integrate and had a complete platform management system, IPMS, integrated platform management system. We had somebody from CAE Canada. Now, I still remember that person's name, he was Mr. Kasturi. Basically a guy from Bangalore, moved to US and then he was working with CAE Canada at that time. When he explained the system, and then now we were trying to question and find out how well they understood the system. I mean, I was very impressed. In fact, I told him at the end of the presentation and after our discussion, I told him that he knew the subject better than many naval engineers at that point in time. He had spent about 4 months on board US naval ships to understand the system, and then they had produced one for the US Navy, and then to fine tune and debug the system. And finally, CAE Canada has supplied IPMS, which is being used, and it is being produced indigenously now, and being used in all these 17 Alpha, which is being built in GRSC and Goa shipyard also. No. So domain knowledge is what is important. If you want to be startup HE, you should understand the requirement. What the person is going through, what is the problem. Either you interact or you have, like I was in the Naval Academy project. We were trying to set up the new Naval Academy at Edimala, Kerala. And we were trying to issue tenders to the firms. And then when I had gone through this, looking for specifications, we had one IS specifications of 2 pages, and which we, of course, the military engineering service MES was using, and we never liked that furniture anyway. And it was expensive to produce that kind of, which was probably drawn from the BAS. This, when this came up, I knew nothing about furniture or how this process is produced, how it is manufactured. So I requested form by the showroom guy in Kochi. The project, I was stationed in Kochi, project coordinator. If I could somehow be attached to Godrej in Mumbai, the factory. I spent about 2 days there trying to figure out how the furniture to certify the product and obtain whoever thereafter supplies at whatever cost. We are getting the right kind of furniture of the right quality at the right price. So, if you can convince the guy, the user, that this is the right thing for you at this price, I'm not talking about the L1 part. If you can develop and get in, produce an item and get in, you will most probably be accepted as a startup. That's my understanding. Another process. Another process is of transfer of technologies quite a bit, which happened in the past, especially Soviet Union, later Russia also, in the strategic project, nuclear submarine project, which I was there as a project director for about 3 years. I had the opportunity to lead delegations to their Russian material research laboratory, Prometei, in St. Petersburg. Now, when you talk about the material specifications for submarines and all, one is producing the material of that quality. Second is especially underwater, and it is subject to so much of pressure. The certification itself is a process through which the equipment is put through. These things now with the startups like Technology Development Fund is providing that testing facility. If you can get in there. I said dual use technologies because earlier when you ask the firms why they are not able to supply, because they are not able to get orders of economic quantities where it is to produce numbers. That was the issue. So if you have a dual use technology, you can offset the lack of orders here with the quantities there in the civilian world. The problem is earlier on, the defense was seen as a very secretive and the technology will now we know that there is no secret. Everybody can produce. I mean, you have a bench car here, but we still don't produce bench cars here. Next is sustaining this thing. The ensuring that the person who has developed earlier they said that okay, second time when he places an order, 70% you have to place the order on M and then somebody 30% to encourage other parallel development, somebody and things like that. But all that has now been dropped, and then they are repeatedly placing orders on the firms which are developed. Like because it is difficult otherwise for a firm to just hold on to that and wait for your orders and sustain. Take the case of some pumps in Baroda firm, and we had placed order for the Defense Machinery Development Establishment, which was produces equipment for the nuclear submarines. Initial sanction of the government was for 3 submarines, and then they developed and produced equipment for 3. And then there was a delay in producing a bigger submarine. The government wants now planning to build bigger submarines, but that design would take time, so there was a gap. So they decided instead of losing the technology and the firm keeping the prime contractor, basically L&T, and they staff occupied, the government gave a sanction for the 4th one. By then, the firms who have actually produced 3 for the 3 equipment have stopped their production line. The skilled labor have gone, and the drawings, technology, everything is gone somewhere, and they had this time. So these experiences have now helped the defense industry. They have realized this, and they are trying to overcome this. That's all I have. If there are any questions, I can take on. Any questions?
See, what I have noticed, most of these defense is, there is some kind of a barrier to get in, for startups. Because it's like, the chicken and egg kind of thing. And unless there is some kind of a prototype, they won't be qualifying for any grants. But to even develop a prototype takes a lot of capital. So how can the defense defense departments see that hurdle, because you can have very bright engineers who are willing to work on a new problem or trying to indigenize something, but without that seed capital, help them, go further. It's very difficult.
Actually, now people are looking for not seed capital, pre-seed capital, so that the proof of concept or MEP can be produced and shown to them at the time. That again, you're not sure whether you will actually get the item or somebody else will get it. It's again a policy decision. I don't know how many of these will be addressed. You have something called defense procurement procedure, DPP, and defense procurement manual. This is supposed to actually make procurement and defense easier. But I tell you, I was scared to touch it. I could never figure out what. It was more complex than the general financial regulations which I am used to. So that again has been understood now, and it's become over the years. People kept adding rules. Every time they had a problem, the person sitting that side thinks that no, I don't want a problem. Nobody is saying to take that risk and So it is in 2025 edition is supposed to come out, and I believe the aim is to reduce the number of pages physically and streamline all these processes. I don't know if it is still open to encourage this, but what they would advise, if the DRDO or other people advise, even the bigger contractors, is to look for a partner in the beginning till you come to that stage. Partner with somebody. Like L&T looks for a lot of these incubators. I can give one example of L&T. They are producing the fast attack craft ships, boats, actually crafts. For Coast Guard, we had an order of about 36. The speed was very of the prime importance, 45 knots. It had to make engines. So the weight is very of greater consideration, because the more boat is like this, the shape of the hull, at more weight, it goes down, and the moment it goes down, more area is exposed and more resistance. And then to overcome that, the power requirement goes up exponentially. They had looked for actually, they do, and that time also they looked for somebody. There was one guy who was trying to produce high altitude clothing. He had got the technology from US, and he was trying to supply for the Indian Army high altitude clothing. Very thin, very light. So what the L&T has done is they have done away with this hot lagging of diesel engine exhaust, all that piping, and replaced with this very thin this insulation that reduced the weight considerably in many areas where they are trying this. So they are bigger firms. They are especially the L&T Defense, and you now Bharat is establishing itself on other manufacturers. Tata's have in defense. They are into. So best is to partner with them to begin with and get this. If you can produce another area which they are mostly looking at now with the success of Copsindor is integrating. Like you didn't have any losses because your air defense system was integrated well. If many were shot down, the drones were shot down in the air, if not the next layer and the next layer, because of Akash Tir. Akash Tir was basically software platform integration there, where different systems, legacy systems means the old equipment of Pinakas or various systems were integrated to a common software. It doesn't happen. Navy did it when we had built after Leanders, we built Godavari class. We had equipment, Russian equipment on some of the ship. Basically, design was Leanders was of a copy from UK design, and some of the equipment were also. And then you had got a design where you had used our own indigenous weapons as well as Russian ex-USSR weapons. So in the fire control center, you had to integrate all that because you cannot sit down there and look at that and then say, okay, this cannot go there, and you cannot. Assigning happens in fraction of a second. That integration happened in the team. That's exactly what now DRDO could achieve with the help of industry in Akash, and they want to tell further. The software development is one area you may not need so much of cyber security in these areas. But I don't know if I can communicate this what your concern is to
Yes.
the people there.
At the end of the day,
But like you just said, the venture capitalists won't fund the idea.
yeah,
I mean, it's a government establishment. There at least you can take this individually. They are government department who will put their neck in. That's how we had so many regulations. But people like Manohar Parrikar and the others who have really brought in the change. Certainly, the focus is also on export of weapons. And if you have to sell in the market outside, you got to be good. And the government of India has realized that there is a lot of potential. Today, there are 14,000 startups or MSMEs in the defense sector. 14,000 in India. In India, starting from L&T down, that's a number. Yeah.
I'm curious to know, from what I've heard, and I could be completely wrong, it seems like you're also working in the space of indigenizing some products and systems. Can we know more about what you're doing and?
No. I deal with mind.
Okay,
I deal with counseling. I deal with therapies.
okay,
Day before yesterday, he called me and he said, "Can you speak on this?"
yeah,
I mean, I have lived my life for 37 years, so it won't. I mean, I cannot delete whatever that
yeah,
click here, delete button. So I just had to brush up and find out the procedures and bring up and ask some of my batchmates in the Navy who are still consultants in Bangalore.
yeah. I think then maybe the other question or ask that we could have is, Abhishek here works in the defense sector space. Like their company is doing, we're also working with them to identify where we can have some space over here.
I would advise you to attend seminars, participate in the exhibitions. If you have a product to display it there. At least I used to regularly attend these seminars, whether in Defense Expo or any other exhibitions.
Yeah.
But like I said, I used to go around 100 feet road also. From that, I mean, I used to go around and looking for space, but not many came forward because it was not economical for them to create a production line.
Mm.
But when I had interacted with these people, the suppliers in quality assurance establishment, especially space in Mumbai, I knew the capabilities of various people. So when I was in the ship later, and we needed a 5-field filter for which was of 25 microns, I knew that this person who produced one of the small quantity, he can produce. So I called him and I said, "This is your item, price is yours, item is mine. Functions well, you get the money." No, maybe tried that for no cost, no commitment.
Mm.
No, you produce it, you will get. Otherwise, sorry, thank you. But that is not being encouraged now. I mean, it is not fair on the part. But that person I knew was the capability. He produced. It was actually, if I had to import, it would cost $1,000. I paid few thousand to him, and it would have taken me a couple of years to get from Russia. But important is domain knowledge, because other person is reading up and he is updating himself. Especially when I have to meet an industry guy, I update myself because I think that I don't know anything, having been cocooned in the Navy. But it's not true. Not many people, they come as a marketing persons and rather than a professional engineer. And if you have to develop an item and sell a product, prepare your product report. Only then you actually start looking at things. And thereafter, if we can produce one, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a lot of information, and you outlined a lot of grant programs and lots of other schemes and sources of funding for startups within the defense establishment. I think, if you don't mind, if you can share that list with us, I'll work with Charita and we can dig into more details and present. Maybe she can present a few more details of each of these programs in upcoming Startup Saturday sessions. That's a lot to digest, and we have a live video going, so that recording will be available for others to watch later. So thank you very much. Moving on. Let's move on to the pictures. I have one pitch here. There's some that I have. Anybody else here to pitch? I had 3 people who said they wanted to pitch, but I only got 1. So let's go to the Mighty Minds.
The only difference is I deal with monkey minds.
Well, hello everyone. So today I'm on behalf of Mighty Minds. So Mighty Minds. So
Down.
okay. So we are Team Mighty Minds, where we are trying to integrate AI into every layer of marketing. So why we are trying to keep AI into every layer of marketing is because we want to really measure the goals that we really wanted to achieve. So that was the reason why we really want to try to integrate AI into every single part of marketing. And by the questions which I want to ask, because here there are a lot of smart people, and by just one question which I'm going to ask, maybe you can definitely understand what I'm trying to pitch here. So, guys, how many of you have tried to create your personal brandings or maybe branding in your Instagram? Okay.
Okay, wait. I'll say I failed at it. So
Oh, you failed it. Okay. Maybe I think you can answer a lot more about these things. So like what is the reason why you have failed in this thing?
primarily there's not enough time to actually work on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So exactly for just like you, we have created a solution called CAS, just like SaaS, which is content as a service. So where we are trying to revolutionize personal branding for more of creators and also for brands basically. And the point what we really wanted to discuss, exactly the point what you told here. One, uh, because you guys have to spend really good amount of time to create the content, maybe strategizing your script or like what you have to talk and etc. and all these points. So that is where we really want to eradicate from these things. And why short form? Because I mean LinkedIn in 2024, I think they have actually created these reels format in the mobile phone, but again they have removed it because uh, the reason what they have told in the keynote is that everyone is just repurposing the same content from Instagram and just keeping it in the LinkedIn, and that is why they have again eradicated that thing, and again they have just normalized the video formats, just like 16:9 formats. And now, but what they have told is that they really want to get it back further, and we really want to automate and optimize this entire content creation process. And by this cast, what we want to do is we just really want to save your time particularly. And we want to reduce the shooting and production costs, maintain authenticity and engagement. We really want to scale the kind of videos that you really want to produce in the thing, because uh, the kind of frequency that you're going to post in Instagram, that creates the algorithm, right? That is the whole idea of why we really want to do. And just like what you have told, the first point, which is time consuming, because you have to strategize, script, shoot, edit, posting, and engage. That is the main problem that what we are trying to solve here. And balancing quality and difficulty in maintaining your consistent output. That these are the main problems that if anyone has to, create content in social media profiles. That is why we are introducing this vast framework, which is video, audio, sound training framework for Mighty Minds. And basically, we just train your images, your video, and your audio, and by that your digital clone will be ready within just, let's say, hardly in 24 hours maybe. And from that, within just a click, if you just put out the content, textual content, a video of you with your own voice will be just speaking out the content. That's it. And that is what we have done. And this is not a proof of concept. We have already tried it with multiple people. So I just want to show. And here, the point, what I want to really tell, why, what is really the best thing in Mighty Minds. We have cracked the thing that where the AI could speak the dialect of Indian tone. Let's say if AI have to speak the Indian names, let's say if it has to speak the word Bhaskar, it just speaks like Bhaskar. So this is where we have tried to, fine tune the AI model how it can speak the word Bhaskar. That is how we have cracked this thing. And this is our major clientele where we have actually tried to implement these things. And one of our major one is AirAsia. We have worked with CMO of AirAsia. And if you open his profile is called Ravi's Book. So those were the videos which were done by us. And we have worked with the companies like Prioglyph, OnLoop is a Singapore-based startup, and all of these things. So we have worked these things, and you see the Ravi's Book, which I told you, this is the guy, CMO of AirAsia. And we have worked with UK-based brands, Amara London, and all of this stuff. So that is what our expertise is. And yeah, if anyone is interested, you can schedule a demo with me, and I can literally show you how this all things will work. And we can create a digital clone for you, and we can start your content creation process with let's say, with all the legal things, hardly in a week, maybe. So yeah. Before going this, my name is Bhaskar Tota, and I've been an entrepreneur with 7 years, and I have started with my journey with having a dealership of Cooper Pop generators. Before the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh has been bifurcated, we've been dealing Cooper Pop generators for both Andhra and Telangana as well. And after that, I've been into imports and exports for a few years, where we used to export rice for East and West Africa, and we used to import fresh fruits from Iran. And after that, I have also been into the restaurants, but because of the COVID, again, the restaurant has to close down. So that is where again I have stopped. And after that, I've been into Mighty Minds. The reason for Mighty Minds is because the very much interest from my childhood, where I used to play all this computer technology kind of stuff. So that is why I've been into Mighty Minds today. And I started with Webflow agency, and I've also been a Webflow coach, where I've trained almost 100 plus people how to use Webflow. And we have created more than 30 plus websites, and we have created 40 to 60% of all organic traffic for the websites that we have created. For all the startups that I have mentioned previously before, we have done all that work. And yeah, that is briefly about me.
So you're pitching a startup.
Yes.
What's your ask? What's next? You have a company now.
Yeah.
How big is your company? How many people?
We are just team of 7.
It's a team of 7.
Yeah.
What's your growth path? What's next step?
So our future, so we are into the services, but future what we are trying to do is we are trying to build this entire thing. Whatever the service that I have pitched, we will package this entire thing as a product, where we wanted to launch this as a platform where you can just upload your pictures and videos into the platform.
So what do you need for that?
So right now I'm here for clients and also
that is a misunderstanding.
and also if there are any investors in the idea that I have been, that is we are also really seeking for funding. That is the
For what?
for the product that we really want to build, the service that we really want to package into a product. That is what we are trying to do. If any questions?
It helps if you kind of be clear on what you're asking. Are you looking for like X amount?
Yeah.
Next time when you pitch, just keep that.
There's a common misunderstanding here. The Startup Paradise is not a marketing forum. It is a startup pitch that we're expecting. So if you have a pitch and you want to pitch, come here with a clear idea and what you want and where you are going with whatever you want to ask for. So this is not a marketing forum. Thank you. So there's no other pitches. Yes, that anybody wants to share? Please keep it relevant to Startup Paradise and startups. Somebody say something? You have a presentation. That is tough. Idea pitches and sorry? Open mic. We don't have presentations. You can come quickly talk about it.
I mean, since they have a presentation, it's a pitch only, right?
No, we have some framework and we want to stick to it.
Hello, I'm Sandeep Saganti from Hyderabad. I'm a robotics mentor and researcher, and I've been into multiple fields of robotics where I've explored the tech and the innovations. And right from last 6 months, I have been thinking of safety concerns in our country. Like we are seeing number of crimes and scenes which we would not expect as a common man in both in social media and also news. And the young minds who are actually going into the AI and the field of robotics are less focusing on safety, especially civilian safety. And after the recent conflict with Pakistan, we have multiple startup founders who are actually marketing themselves as a defense sector. And I have known I have connections with multiple friends who are into startups, and they have also switched their motto to the defense sector. But what I feel is bringing the robotics into the safety is really important. But we should also rethink that number of people have died on that day in that tragedy could be could be lesser than the overall deaths happen in India because of the crimes. So that's where I am finding. So there should be a civilian defense system, like end-to-end defense system. So my idea is to make it into two components. Like one would be the central AI, which monitors the CCTVs and also alarm systems 24 hours restlessly. And the second component would be the robots. Right now, I have decided of making four robot, which is G4 Defense Zone, which I have first look of design ready, and the 6-leg crawling robot with adaptable non-lethal weapon projectiles embedded into it, and underwater bot, and also automatic current. So what's my plan is like imagine a scenario where there is a tragedy happening in a street or something, and if the AI detects through the CCTVs, if government allowed us to access their CCTVs, so so it automatically deploys the drone. So there could be multiple charging docks in the streets and places that we have decided, and the drone will be automatically deployed to the conflict state. It is equipped with the non-lethal weapons like tear gas, teaser guns, and all, and this can neutralize the people who are causing the you I mean unnecessary activities over there. And also, you could imagine a place where there is a natural disaster, like a building is collapsed or there is a fire accident. There we can deploy the drones. And 6-line crawling robot is a bit higher into tech end. Like it is equipped with the fast movement speeds and also with advanced sensors, including the latest tech in the vibration sensor like acoustic sensors. And that what it can do is little more into the defending. And in another level we have underwater bot which also rests in the seashore dock stations, which will be deployed when a person is drowning and helps to locate and point out the location of the drowning person. Or even if there is a tragedy where submarines, intruder submarines come and release the depth charges over the in our seashores, these bots can detect those depth charges and neutralize them. And coming to the fourth one, which is automatic turret, which can seek the enemy intruders or enemies with advanced sensors like including depth cameras, acoustic sensors, and also the heat seeking sensors. So what it can be mounted on a plain ground or on the simplest crawling robot or any flexible other robots. So there are a couple other things that I have personally researched, but I haven't kept them into the research yet. I mean, I haven't made a prototype yet on them. And right now I'm focusing on the drone, and the prototype will be ready soon. So what I'm seeking for an investment for the research and for the equipment and all, and also solid connections with the related people. I would like to learn more about this. So that's my pitch.
Many parts of what you said sounded like Mission Impossible. So good luck. Good luck, and you are at a good forum, so connect with people around after the session, and you might get some good ideas and leads. Thank you, and Srinivas is here. Oh, as soon as I said your name, it disappeared. Srinivas, do you have any announcements you want to share? Good afternoon. Sorry I missed your session. I'll hopefully watch it on the YouTube recording. A couple of quick announcements. The Thai Women program has started. We have a women entrepreneurship program that is for, as the name goes, entrepreneurs who are women who have a company that they started and they want to participate in a competition that gives them a total of up to $50,000 in prize money at the end of, and it's a global competition. And during the process, they get to learn from a lot of entrepreneurs, both men and women, on what can be done, how to build their business. So that's happening every Thursday. If you know of any women who would like to be a part of it, the deadline for application is over, but they can definitely attend the sessions and be a part of it. The student program, the Thai University program has also, the deadline has ended, and we are going to work with the students, and they have a similar competition. The prize money is not so much, but they can, but there is obviously a lot of money to be made if you have an idea that is investable. And there is a pre-revenue and a revenue track. We have applications for that. That's being processed. The big announcement that we have, I mean, the quick one that's coming up is the
Life Sciences Hackathon Hackathon. The last day for submitting the POC proof of concept is tonight, 9 p.m. After that, those teams are going to be our selection panel will look at the ideas and decide who's going to be there in the finals. The finals will be held on the 27th, next Sunday, not tomorrow, but the Sunday after tomorrow, and we will see who wins. There is a small prize money component that got added because somebody that we know in memory of his brother who passed away in an untimely manner has decided to give some money, so we're just doing that to encourage people to participate. So we have that, and we have a workshop that we are probably going to do for people who are new to entrepreneurship. There are students who have written first from university in one of the oldest universities in Odisha, and they want to learn a little bit about entrepreneurship, incubation, and if somebody will give them money, everybody wants money. So they have reached out to us. We have to figure out what the date is, but somewhere in the first week of August, we're going to have that. What is going to announce the next startup Saturdays date and everything, right? Thank you. So you're giving away money next week to somebody? Next Sunday. Next Sunday? Okay. Address will be posted on Startup Saturdays. Cash. Okay. You missed a good session. Gautam gave us a lot of details. I'm still thinking about all the programs that you mentioned and so many ways to collaborate and work with defense forces. So there's so much information.
Yeah, if I may, I think we need to bring him on board for doing probably a much longer session with companies that are interested in the defense related.
And we should give him enough time to prepare.
And yes.
Prepare and contact the people who are interested.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot to digest there. So we will get back to you and we'll get more information from them. So we hope you all enjoyed the session. We hope you all enjoyed the session. Here's a way to tell us how we did it and if we can improve and how we can improve. Thank you for the announcements, Srinivas, and that brings us to the end of the show. The next one is first week of August. I think it's August 2nd. Yeah, I believe so. 6th. August 2nd. Yeah. Not possible unless I'm looking at 2026 or something. No.
Yeah, it's the second.
August 2nd. You have a calendar in your hand. So that's the end of the show. Thank you very much for coming, and please come to the stage. The social media part, you can join us on WhatsApp because nobody's new here. Everybody's has been here. I recognize everyone. Okay, there's WhatsApp group. You can follow us, and there's a very strictly monitored group. Yeah, there's no. See, there are lots of people still posting all kinds of stuff on Startup Saturdays WhatsApp group. We strictly monitor it and we delete all the posts that are not relevant. So if there is anything that you want to share with Startup Sat or anything related to startups, and that is also a broad spectrum. So what gets posted? No marketing posts, no looking for interns. There are clear rules posted on the group's description. So just follow them. And if we delete them, don't take it personal. It's not about you. Yeah, it's about the group. So we just monitor it closely. Please join us, and if you still like our rules and you want to follow and subscribe us on other social media, please.
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
I missed out. There's a lot of emphasis on maintenance. That's a lot of digital twins are being created now for predictive maintenance, especially for larger equipment, gas turbines and things like that. The data which comes actually gets for the gas turbine which are being made at HAL, they're trying to develop one Koraput. They actually develop, if the gas turbine is running, they know actually how it has ran there. All the parameters get logged there, and they'll say that okay, this is the problem, this can happen. You please look at it. So that's one area of opportunity.
So do they already have it, or do we need to develop it?
I said for the major, especially that is being tried out for gas turbine. But there are other, because funding was talked about, I said, so producing things that may be difficult.
So on same lines, why can't we have digital twins for all these Navy ships? For this documents, sometimes there is so much maintenance that happens.
They will go ahead.
Equipment wise, but that's a huge opportunity. Have a digital twin.
So we can continue this conversation after the session ends. So can we please join here at the stage so we can get the picture?